Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Swami trying to lift the card up to open it with his hand. It was all frail. Just picked it up and he looks through the choir and he makes direct eye contact with me.
Ultimately, Guru Poornima, being originally called Vyasa Poornima, and Veda Vyas, the sage who was given the divine responsibility of categorizing all the knowledge into the books of the Vedas, is quite commonly referred to as the first Guru. So,
Sai Bhagawan, Sathya Sai Bhagawan, Sai Bhagawan, Sathya Sai Bhagawan, Sai Bhagawan, Sathya Sai Bhagawan, Sai Bhagawan. गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाचेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम शांति 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 अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Om Shri Sai Ram, and welcome to this podcast where we'll be discussing Bhajans, Sadhana, and how Swami has touched our lives through all of these different activities. And we've been given this amazing opportunity to reflect on Swami and how he's touched our lives through this beautiful method that is bhajan and singing of the divine name. So we'll be asking a few questions, discussing a few points, and reflecting on how Swami has touched our lives. One of the first questions that we would like to explore this evening is, how has Swami shown up as your Guru and guided you at the time of need? How did this guidance come? Was it through a gentle nudge, or was it through a conscious form from the inside? Or someone just showing up and asking you something, or saying the right thing, or giving you the sign that you needed? So we'll be discussing these points. If anyone would like to share your thoughts or your views, experience, please feel free to. Sister Mayuri, would you like to answer this question for us?
I actually do have an experience that comes to mind. So when I was much younger, we went to Prashanti for Christmas, and every team that is in charge of decor for the year gets the opportunity to present or to make the Christmas card that is presented to Swami. So as luck would have it, I wanted to try it out, and I was excited about it, but I was fairly young, so it wasn't the best, it wasn't the prettiest, it wasn't something that was outstanding. It was a normal 2D flat card as compared to the beautiful cards that you see presented on Christmas. Quite obviously, my one was declined initially. However, looking back at it, the card that was meant to be presented for the children's choir kind of disappeared close to the time, and the only backup card that was there was mine. The reason why this was a bit of a guidance experience for me was because that was the point where I was selecting my subjects in school. And visual arts was something that I wanted to do, but it wasn't something that was reasonable in my parents' eyes. So we went forward with it. The card was presented to Swami, and I still remember sitting right at the back of the children's choir and Swami trying to lift the card up to open it with his hand. It was all frail. Just picked it up, and he looks through the choir and he makes direct eye contact with me. Best moment of my life, but it also changed the course of my life.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, sister. I think it's so true that whether we think something may not be the prettiest or the best, Swami sees our devotion, our intention. And, it's always said that Swami doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the call. So he definitely qualified your card amongst that to be offered to him. So thank you for sharing that experience and showing us how Swami guided and molded your life and the decisions going forward. Sister Bianca, would you like to share anything?
Yes, Sarah. So we all know that Swami loves to work in mysterious ways, but sometimes he can be blatant in his guidance, and that is what my experience is about. So about 7 years ago, I moved up to Johannesburg, and my parents are still in our hometown in Durban. And it's been difficult to live away from them. You are a close-knit family, and you obviously tend to worry about your parents if you're not living with them. So they have specific diets and exercises that they have to do that is pertinent to their health. And when we grow up, we now become soldiers and try to tell them what to do and what to eat. So they had this going on, and then I found out that they weren't really following it. So we had a call, and it was a little bit heated because I was playing the parent for them. And I wanted to know, why aren't you following it? And I was getting upset, and I was getting worried, and I just asked Swami, what do I do? I'm not there to help. What can I do? And I have this app on my phone, I'm sure a lot of us do. It has Swami's little sayings, they're called chants. And when you select the button, it'll give you the chit of the day. So I just went in there just to get some guidance, and the note said, do not worry about your parents, I will take care of them. So ever since I saw that, I let go and I surrendered. And lo and behold, they were following their diets, they were doing the exercises. So it just shows when you leave things in Swami's hands, he takes care of it. And I try to apply that same concept in other parts of my life, just to surrender.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, sister. I think it's beautiful. Swami really takes control of the things that we can't, and he really shows his hand in these beautiful ways that provides guidance, assurance, and allow us to surrender. Sometimes surrender is difficult, but when we get these little bits of assurance, it becomes easier to know that he is truly there. From my side, I had a tough work experience a couple of years ago, and ended up leaving work. And it's a story I really enjoy telling. And it was a very difficult time in my life, really facing a lot of challenges and questioning my career, questioning my profession, questioning where I worked. And I ended up leaving work without having another job in the midst of COVID, and just a difficult time all around, lots of uncertainty. And eventually I got a job at the company that about 7 years prior, I went in for work experience, and as soon as I walked in, I said, I want to work here. And shortly after I left this bad work experience, I got the job that I wanted at this company that I wanted to work at. And the first day when the administrative lady takes me to my office, it's office number 108. And for me, that was confirmation, that all of these trials, tribulations were there for a reason, there for me to learn, there for me to grow, transform, and become a closer version of what Swami has envisioned for me. And these things have molded and guided me throughout my life. And I think it's so true when you look at Guru Poornima. Swami fulfills so many roles, and one of the most important roles is that of a guru. And I think that leads quite nicely into our next bhajan. Jai Sai Guru Deva. Glory to Lord Sai, who is our Guru and our God.
Sai Guru Deva
Next question. I think since our sisters had an opportunity to share their beautiful experience, I think this one will aim at our dear brothers. So, Swami has afforded us many opportunities to grow, to learn, to transform, and to ultimately attain his divine lotus feet. And these opportunities are our sadhanas, right? So, what sadhana has helped you connect with Swami the most? And how has the sadhana helped you navigate through any rough patches or challenges in your life? Brother Desh, would you like to share?
Sorry, Brother Tish, thank you. Sadhu iti sadhana, which means one who engages in sadhana is a sadhu. But I think you can also read that backwards in saying that a spiritual seeker is only as good as their sadhana. Relating this to me specifically, the way that I most engage in sadhana is through Vedas. And I think that Vedas in particular, or Swami has placed a large emphasis on Vedas. So when I chant, I do feel closer to him. But Vedas have been passed down through generations through the Guru Shishya Parampara. It's an oral tradition where you learn at the feet of your Guru. And I think that in this case especially, a Guru is really important. So obviously without the grace of our Lord, not a single syllable of the Vedas will escape your lips. And I've been blessed in that I've been able to chant. But for a long time after learning about the Vedas initially, I struggled to find a teacher. But it's taken me some time. Eventually I did come across Brother Tish, who's taught me. But I think importantly is that the reason you need a teacher when you're learning the Vedas is they're able to guide and correct you, not only for the chant, but where you might be going wrong. And so it's really important to have that consistency and that effort. And I think whenever I feel troubled or whenever I'm in a difficult situation, I like to pull out one of the chants that I know. Mantra Pushpam is my favorite. But I think that also there's a lot of other forms of sadhana which can help. I know we've all been stuck in the increasingly worsening traffic in Joburg, and when you get cut off on the road, it's tricky. But to have a nice bhajan playing in the background there, it really helps to move you through.
Excellent. Thanks, bro. I think as Brother Deshan mentioned, we both share a passion for the Vedas. And ultimately, Guru Poornima, being originally called Vyasa Poornima, and Veda Vyas, the sage who was given the divine responsibility of categorizing all the knowledge into the books of the Vedas, is quite commonly referred to as the first Guru. So Guru Poornima now used to be called Vyasa Poornima, and I think it's even a very auspicious time to reflect on the Vedas as well. I mean, at this point in the year, Guru Poornima signifies the brightest night of the year, when the presiding deity over our minds, being the moon, has a maximum impact and allows us to receive information, allows us to be stimulated in these ways. It's so powerful to reflect on the Vedas, these divine sounds and syllables that permeate every aspect of this world and all the worlds, every fiber of our beings and every grain of sand that lies around us. These are the sounds of creation, of divinity. And as we chant and as we reflect on these divine mantras, it has, as Brother Desh mentioned, a beautiful and a profound effect on ourselves and on our spiritual transformation. So thanks for sharing that, bro. Brother Sairushan, anything you'd like to share on what sadhana has helped you in your day-to-day life, and how it's helped you get through any rough patches?
Yes, definitely, bro. Sairam, everyone. Personally, I always like to start off with the 9-point core of conduct. As you know, the first point of the 9-point core of conduct is daily meditation and prayer. So I try daily to obviously sit at our little lamp and just meditate on Swami and talk to him and tell him about my day. I feel that's the way that I connect, on a personal basis, just to tell Swami what's happening, although he knows what's happening in my life, and how, if he can, ask if he can guide me and speak through me and do my actions through the day. Obviously, I'm sure my other brothers and sisters will also relate as a musician or as a singer. Another way of connecting to Swami, or another sadhana of connecting to Swami, is by singing and by playing instruments. And I know after a long week or a rough day, normally you just want to sit down and play tabla or harmonium or just sing a song to Swami. I find that the best way for connecting. But there is many other ways. But just personally, I feel like this is the way that I connect mostly to Swami.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, bro. I think I myself also share that connection with bhajans. There's certain bhajans, when we sing, and I can barely hold back the tears, and you really feel Swami's presence, and you feel that vibration in you, and it's such a blissful experience. And I think what we all strive to do with all our sadhanas is to have that experience of that bliss and that closeness to Swami all the time. And as we go through these, Swami is so amazing. He's given us all these tools, all these different things that we can hack away at the Maya that separates us from our true selves and from seeing Him in ourselves and in everyone. And these sadhanas are all those little tools. As you mentioned, with the bhajans, and with Brother Desh mentioned Vedas, during COVID, we had this opportunity to revolutionize the way we look at sadhana, right? And one of the things that we were able to do was chant the Vedas online at 8 p.m. Every night, and we were able to do this for 2 full years without a single day missed. And through all the turmoil that we experienced with COVID, I think this was a very grounding activity. It helped us to connect and reflect on Swami's presence even through these difficult times. So sometimes, it's hard to actually see the results of sadhana, but never underestimate the value of that transformation that happens on a day-to-day basis. The people we are now are so different from the people we were before these sadhanas, before we started practicing 10 years, 5 years, even more than that. We've changed in so many ways, and we're drawing closer to Swami's feet through these activities, consciously or unconsciously. So it's by His grace that we're given, by grace of the Guru, right, that we're given these opportunities. Sister Mayuri, is there anything else you'd like to share on this before we wrap up the podcast?
So about sadhanas, when we were in school, when we were in primary school, we used to start the day off with night meditation. And I never thought that I would be implementing this like in the future, because for us it was tradition. Every morning you get in, you say your prayer, and you do your night meditation. So when I started teaching, I realized that your kids need some sort of way to bring them back to what's important. So I implemented light meditation just before they do any big projects or assessments. So I make them sit, close their eyes, create this flame bubble around them where they are becoming one with this bubble. Nothing can distract them or deter them from what they're supposed to do. And they can't let anyone else get into their personal bubble. So it's manifesting, it's building confidence. It's something that I learned as a child, and I never realized the importance of it and how it impacts, our lives as children and then as adults teaching back to the community.
Amazing. No, that's so true. I think, and that's the small ways in which we can spread Swami's teachings. In every profession, in every role that we play, there's always that opportunity to share Swami's love through all of these different methods. But thank you all for these beautiful experiences, for sharing your stories, your personal, heartfelt experience with Swami, and with this beautiful satsang that we're having, all the bhajans, all the love that we're sharing through Swami's grace, and reflecting on his role in the various capacities that he plays in our life. And I think that's all the time we have for today, and I will end. Brother Sairu, would you like to end for us with one bhajan?
Yes, brother, thank you.
Bhagawan, Sathya, Sai Bhagawan. Sai Bhagawan, Sathya, Sai Bhagawan. Sabh sukh jeevana, Sai Bhagawan. Sabh sukh jeevana, Sai Bhagawan. Sabh sukh jeevana, Sai Bhagawan. सब दुख हरना साई भगवान. सब दुख हरना साई भगवान. सत्य स्वरूपा साई भगवान. सत्य स्वरूपा साई भगवान. हृदय निवासा साई भगवान. हृदय निवासा साई भगवान. सब मिलकर साई भगवान, सत्य साई भगवान. साई भगवान, सत्य साई भगवान. साई भगवान, सत्य साई भगवान. साई भगवान. सुख जीवन साई भगवान
सब सुख जीवन साई भगवान
सब दुख हरना साई भगवान
सब दुख हरना साई भगवान
सत्य स्वरूपा साई भगवान
सत्य स्वरूपा साई भगवान
हृदय निवासा साई भगवान हृदय निवासा साई भगवान सत्य साई भगवान
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 शांति शांति शांति